Hello, I'm Keith Hilson with the Schmidt Music Trombone Shop, back with another accessory review for you. Today, I have a case I've gotten a lot of requests to review, specifically the Protec Propac Tenor Trombone case. Now, when I started getting these requests, it actually surprised me because I could have sworn that I had done a video a long time ago about this case. Obviously, I had not, and frankly, that surprised me because the Protec Propac cases, whether tenor or bass, have been consistently the most popular case we have in the shop for a lot of really great reasons. If you're not familiar with Protec, they have been, really going back 20 plus years, one of the biggest makers for cases and gig bags, and it's really been impressive the past, 5-6 years. I've really seen them, not only improving their quality, and their quality's always been good. My first gig bag I had was a Protec, and boy, I kind of beat the heck out of it, but the case itself kept on going. The quality, consistency with Protec has been getting better, and what's really impressed me is over the past handful of years, they've really become more innovative with a lot of their designs. We have the Propac series here. I think that's one of the ones that have been really been popular, and again, we'll talk about why, but they have a whole series of other cases I think have done some really nice work with, and they've really expanded their accessory line as well, and it seems like they're always really thoughtful. With one or two rare exceptions, everything they come out with, I say, boy, that's really well thought out. It makes a lot of sense, and it's a fantastic quality at really, very accessible prices, which I think are a great combination. The Protec Propac is a perfect example of this. So again, these cases are available for both tenor and bass trombone. This is, of course, the tenor trombone model here. And so the first thing I like about these cases, hard shell. These have wood shell cases. They are, of course, fabric covered. They use a 1680 ballistic nylon fabric. Another similar term for that is Cordura. So it's a very tear-resistant fabric. It tends to have a lot of durability with it. Like a lot of the aftermarket cases we see now, especially those that are fabric covered, it does use a zipper construction here as well. So you have that to close things up. And we do have, we've got some storage that we'll take a look at as well. But I want to get a little bit more in-depth look here so we can really see a few details with this case. All right, so here we can see a little bit closer shot of the case here. So again, this is fabric covered throughout, that 1680 ballistics fabric, tear resistant, cut resistant. I've never really seen an issue. Over time, I have seen folks with these cases that have got quite a few years of use on them. Those points where there is a lot of rubbing, a lot of contact, so especially along the bottom here, and a few other places, I have seen somewhere to the point where it does eventually get a little bit of a tear in there, or the fabric kind of wears through, and you are able to see the wood shell underneath. But that takes a lot of work to do that, a lot of years of use out of that. So again, it does have the zipper enclosures all the way through here. Now, at one time, Protec was using the YKK zippers. So these are kind of the industry standard high, heavy-duty zippers. It looks like they're not using them now. They're using their own brand. I have to say, as far as the construction goes, they certainly look like really good zippers, and that is something to pay attention to any case design, is the quality of the zipper. So whether, the storage pouches are one thing, but especially here, whether we're unzipping these cases a lot, there's a lot of stuff to think about with that. If you talk to some cases makers, they talk a lot about the radiuses of the zippers. If they make these radiuses too tight, then of course it's very difficult to get the zipper over. And I think in my experience, Protec does a really nice job of thinking about that. A lot of times what that does mean is, in order to make all that happen, they do have to make things a little bit wider than maybe they would have to accommodate that, but I think they're trying to balance all of that out here. Again, we have the external storage pouch. This does come with a shoulder strap with it. In addition, if you want, it does come with their backpack system. So Protec has this kind of universal backpack system that actually works with all of their Protec cases, whether it's trombone, trumpet, saxophone, etc. And the idea is kind of a universal system that you're able to strap onto the case. So on this side, it straps on the back side of the case here. and along the side, so that way when you hold it, the bell goes up by your head, and the bottom, of course, goes down by your feet, or, in that vicinity anyway. And I think, as far as, design comfort, I've had a lot of folks who've really used this and liked it if you're looking for a backpack system. These running like an additional $20. So it is a little bit of an additional cost, but it's not bad, and I think they do a really nice job. They're very secure. Now, a couple other things with this. Of course, we do have the handle here that does have actually a nice padded holder here, so it holds this together and actually does give you some padding while you're holding. Quick note, I did just see on the Protec site that they actually have a number of new colors for this. So if you want to give your case just a little bit of bling, a little bit of individuality, they have a lot of nice colors. Anything, actually, there was really a really nice pink and purple that I said, if I want a little splash of color, that would be a really nice option. I think they're like $6, $7. So we've got that there. And then we've got this here. The idea with this is that it not only covers the zippers, but if you are, you've got your horn out of the case, but you want to make sure the case stays closed, or you want to be able to, tip the case up and get it out of the way, you just throw that over. You don't have to zip up the whole thing. It holds the case together, keeps everything inside there, but you don't have to do the whole zipper system as well here. Now, let's go ahead and open it up. All right, perfect. So we can see inside. Now, inside of here, I've got a Bach 42, actually a Bach 42 BOG, and I did the Bach for a specific reason, because one of the issues, if any of the issues we can see with the fitting of the instrument inside the case is the overall length. There are a few makers, and Bach and Kahn really in particular, that have a much longer F-side tuning slide than the others as well, and so we've run into a few situations where the case is actually not long enough to really accommodate that. And you can make other accommodations for that. With the Marcus Bona compact tenor case, they actually have a separate pouch for you to take your tuning slide out and put it in, etc. But again, one of the things I like about these cases is that there is plenty of room for that. I didn't have to push the tuning slide in all the way. There's actually plenty of room to accommodate that. And this will take a whole variety of bell sizes. It will fit up to, they say, a 9 1/4 inch bell. And certainly, as I'm looking at this, there's a lot of width here to deal with. But one of the things I really like about these cases is how it secures everything in place. So you can see here that it's got this strap system here. So the idea is you've got the strap, and you go through, and you have everything strapped down, and then what that's doing is that, combined with the cushioning along here, this is really helping to protect and keep the bell in place. There's a lot of soft padding here, but this combined with the strap system here, as you can see, there's really very, very little movement there. There's a tiny little bit, but it's not much, and that's really important because when we see damage of instruments, it's oftentimes the instrument shifting inside the case. So I think this does a really nice job with this, and it will fit a whole variety of different valve setups. I've used, up to axial flow valves on here. I've done, the Lindbergh valves, the Hagman valves. So any variety of sizes, they've done a really nice job of accommodating for all that while giving you a lot of protection here. So the hand slide, of course, goes in here. And we've got these two straps. And then this folds down here. And the same thing, there's a lot of room here. With having, especially this pad here, it's only going to shift so far. But with this kind of setup here, with having the strap right here, the slide may be able to shift around a little bit, but not a whole lot, honestly. I think it does a nice job of keeping everything in place and keeping the slide really separated from the bell section, which again is a big deal. We see issues with that at times here. And of course, we do have some other built-in storage as well here. We've got a spot over here where you can put mouthpieces, small accessories. We've got this zippered pouch over here where they actually include a mouthpiece pouch here, but it's a great place to put a lot of your other oils and greases, other mouthpieces you have. And then, of course, we do have the external pouch as well here again. So the external pouch actually has a really nice zippered pouch here, so it's got a spot for pencils. It's got a zipper spot here for, again, if you want to keep your oils or your metronome, earplugs, anything else you might have is all separated there as well. One other thing I do really like about these cases is, again, we've got a strap here. I do like that we've got the Subway strap here. That helps a ton. Because of the size, and we'll talk about the size in a second here, because of the size, this is super helpful to have a hold on. You know, if you're tall enough, you can actually, you know, pick up the case, you know, vertically, or, you know, if you're standing somewhere, if you are on a subway, on public transportation, and you need to be having this on the ground, having that positive control of it with the strap here is really helpful. And it has really nice feet as well. So you can see here we've got these rubberized feet here and along the bottom as well. So that way, hopefully, you're not putting your fabric of the case inside wet environments. You know, if it's wet on the floor, snowy, whatever it is, you know, those feet are hopefully trying to give that fabric a lot of protection as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of upside. There's a lot of really great features with these cases. Now, there are a few things to consider with them. I wouldn't necessarily call them drawbacks, but they are items to think about. First off, they're not the lightest cases in the world. So for example, this comes in at just under 11 pounds, which is not the heaviest case in the world, but it does have some heft to it. So if you are somebody who is looking for a more lightweight option, or you know, you just have concerns about making the case and instrument combination too heavy, well, that's something to think about with this. And, you know, I think they do a nice job of making things compact as possible, but in order to provide a lot of that protection we saw inside, they do have some size to it here. So this comes in at about 37 inches tall. It's a 12 by 13 at the base. Now, what does all of that mean? Well, for the most part, that means for everyday use, you know, traveling around the city, going from, you know, one performance to another, driving places, all of that is great. Flying may be a little bit different issue. In particular, if you're somebody who wants to not check your bag, but if you want to carry on, it's really not going to happen. They're just too wide. They're long, and they're just too wide at the base there. However, if you are looking to check your case, you know, honestly, I have as much confidence as these as I would really with any other aftermarket case. You know, it's never going to be perfect. I know some folks still, while they're traveling, where they'll do a gig bag and then they'll get like one of the SKB golf bag cases, the really hard ABS ones that are frankly oversized nowadays. So I don't see as much of it, but some folks will do that because that's about as protective as you get. For a design like this, I think, again, this is really as protective as you're going to find out there. There are a few others. SKB, of course, has their universal case, which really size-wise is pretty similar to this. Does have an ABS outside, you know, construction. However, it doesn't have nearly the amount of padding and securing inside the case. And for me, that's as big a deal as anything. More often than not, if you see an instrument getting damaged inside a case, it's not the case itself getting damaged. I've seen one time where somebody accidentally had their case driven over and the case actually collapsed. Well, of course, that makes sense. But unless, you know, if you've got this inside of a airplane cargo hold, unless you've got a tuba or something falling on it, the case itself, I really can't imagine it crushing. And more often what we see when we get the instrument damaged, it's the instrument shifting within the case, whether it is from a fall, you know, a baggage handler drops it, or there's a fall or something like that. It's more of the shifting of the instrument, that impact inside the case, that causes a lot of the damage there. And one of the ways we can try to eliminate that is by trying to keep things as secure as possible inside. And again, I think these do a really nice job with that. So, and the other upside here as well is that they are, you know, for the price right now, these are running in about the $240 range, give or take here. What you get for the price, I think, is fantastic. There are, of course, you know, lighter weight cases. You know, gig bags, etc., that may be less or maybe in the similar kind of ballpark, but they're not giving this kind of protection. Then there are, of course, lighter weight cases such as Marcus Bona and others that have a lot of that protection and are lighter weight, maybe a little bit more compact, but they are significantly more expensive. It's not to say that this is a fit for everybody, but for the person looking for a great all-around case, looking to replace a case that's falling apart, or I want something more protective, I am going to be flying, I know I have to check my case. You know, I'd have as much confidence with this as, you know, most other cases, especially anything in this price point. here. So I hope you enjoyed our review of the Protec Propac tenor case here. If you have any specific questions or comments about this case, please let me know. I'll be glad to hear about them. You can feel free to share them with our community here that we have on the channel. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me as well. Our email at the Trombone Shop is tromboneshop@schmidtmusic.com. You can reach out to us, and I'm always happy to help with all of that. If you haven't already had a chance, please check out our other videos on the channel. Thanks for giving this video a thumbs up. Check out our other videos. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, think about that. Hopefully we're trying to create new content all the time. Hopefully that's interesting for you. So go ahead, subscribe, hit that notification button so you can find out when we've got that next video coming out. And as always, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram as well. So thanks for watching, everybody.